Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and we are live from Hudson Media Group's North Bergen studio and on Comcast Channel 190. We want to thank you for joining us every week for your one-stop shop for sports picks, politics and government chatter, and even some neighborhood restaurant reviews. Instead of going to 3 different channels, you can come here every week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. And why don't we begin with our picks with Peter B segment. And of course, tomorrow is the Super Bowl. The big game is tomorrow, folks. And today, we are going to give you a bonus pick segments. And that means 2 pick segments. And joined live in studio are Mr. Matt Waymeyer, guess who were on the show before, Mr. Matt Waymeyer, formerly of MLB Network, NHL Network, News 12, and NBC Sports. Didn't miss anything, right?
I've gotten around.
I could tell. And Mr. Sean Potter, formerly a BUTV play-by-play commentator. Gentlemen, 2 segments. How are you today?
Pumped up.
Pumped up. Sean, you good?
Yeah.
All right, good. We're very, very happy to have you. So why don't we jump right in, Sean? Why don't we start with you?
Cool.
And of course, Rams-Patriots down in Hotlanta, which hasn't been too hot lately with the polar vortex here. And why don't we begin with a little bit of a curveball? Patriots rookie running back, Sonny Michel, has 5 postseason rush touchdowns, the most by a rookie in NFL history. He is usually not a player that's talked about, but should he be?
I mean, yes. Here's the thing. As you said, he's not a player that's being talked about, and that gives him the sleeper fact. When you look at the rest of the Patriots, running game with James White and Rex Burkhead, those are the 2 guys that probably have been circling around the media a lot on how are they going to produce as much as they have throughout the season. And then here comes Sonny Michel putting in 5 touchdowns in the postseason, bringing in that factor of, wait, now we got to worry about 3 people if you're looking at it the Rams side of defense. So it's, when you think about how are they going to now use that in their advantage as, Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and with 3 guys now when they could focus on that.
It's interesting you bring up the Rams defense. And Matt, in looking at the Rams defense, they've allowed the most yards per carry in the NFL this season, 5.1, and were a bottom 10 rush defense for the 2nd consecutive season. So it's going to be an issue dealing with this rookie from New England?
Here's the thing. As bad as the Rams' rush defense was in the regular season, they've been that phenomenal in the playoffs. They've taken 3 of the elite running backs in the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott, rushing champion, the 2-headed monster with the Saints, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and completely shut those guys down. Zeke for the Cowboys, 20 carries, 47 yards, terrible numbers for him. Ingram, the week after in the NFC title game, 9 carries, 31 yards. Kamara, 8 carries, 15 yards. So whatever they've done, whatever adjustment they've made, they've done a complete 180 because, like you said, that rush defense was a sieve through 16 games of the regular season, and they have completely flipped the script. As I said, they've shut down 3 of the elite tailbacks in the NFL, and, Sonny Michel is good, as you touched on, the 5 rushing TDs. You can't ignore that, but I don't quite put him at the level yet of a Zeke or an Ingram or an Alvin Kamara. So what the Rams defense is doing this to guys of that caliber, Sonny Michel and that Patriots offensive line, they're going to have their work cut out for them. And, as I said, whatever switch they have flipped, it's worked. And that has been what was such a weakness in the regular season is now one of the undeniable strengths in the postseason. It's been remarkable to watch.
Amazing. And I know we spoke about this a few weeks ago. Wade Phillips.
Yes.
I mean, all the credit in the world has to go to Wade Phillips, correct, Sean?
Yeah, when you think about the postseason right now, this is where you need to play your best football. And, the first 16, 17 seasons, it's been, okay, we got by with, holding down the defensive side. And now this is where you're playing the best football, and that seems where the Rams are doing.
Unbelievable. Matt, anything to add?
And Ndamukong Suh is a guy, I remember when he was drafted by the Lions, I was working out in Michigan for that NBC affiliate. And the hype surrounding this guy was off the charts, and justifiably so. He was the number 2 overall pick. He was a human wrecking ball for many years out in Nebraska. Had a great rookie year, was an all-pro. Then he kind of fell off a little bit. Things got bad with the Lions. He went to the Dolphins. He was okay. Went to the Rams. He kind of flew under the radar, but he is back to being that dominant force that he was in college, his first couple years as a pro, and he is just wreaking havoc as I said, one-man wrecking crew on that line. It's not just him. It's a collective effort, but he is anchoring that line. If he is a big game in the Super Bowl, that could spell doom for New England.
Amazing, amazing. It really is. C.J. Anderson. Spoke about him a few weeks
Yes.
ago, correct? I mean, you hit the nail on the head when, with his performance against Dallas, and if he was going to have the same performance against New Orleans. So he's the only member of the Rams to play in multiple Super Bowls, and he leads the NFL in postseason rush yards, 481, over the last 5 seasons. I mean, but again, just an okay game against the Saints 2 weeks ago. Will he be a difference maker? Matt, let's start with you.
That's a good question. I think this depends not so much on him, but on what we're going to get from Todd Gurley. Because Todd Gurley, this is a mystery. I mean, they
what is
beat
going
the
on with him?
No
Is he
one
hurt?
knows. No one knows.
Sean, is he hurt?
I don't know. He walks on the sideline like nothing's wrong. He plays a couple snaps like.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Matt.
I don't think he knows if he's hurt. I don't know if Sean McVay knows if he's hurt. The Rams fan base doesn't know. You know, against the Cowboys in the divisional round, I think they kind of fed off each other. Anderson and Gurley, they both had 100-plus yard rushing games. I don't know yet if one guy can succeed without the other, as odd as that sounds. I got kind of a thunder and lightning thing going. So if one guy's shut down, can the other guy pick up the slack? We don't know yet because Gurley's not 100%. He's been marginalized in the Rams' offensive plan. Whatever Sean McVay is doing or not doing, it has not involved Todd Gurley. So a lot might be placed on Anderson's shoulders. Can he carry that load by himself? I wish I had a better answer, but I just don't know.
Unbelievable. Sean.
I mean, when you think about it, right? So when they played the Cowboys and they came in, and then they played the Saints, when you're trying to defensively prepare for the game, okay, all we got to do is stop Todd Gurley.
Sure.
But now you throw in a curveball and you bring in C.J. Anderson, you throw off the whole type of game plan, because now what do you got to do? Now you're making switches in-game, which changes a whole different dynamic, because the whole first half, here goes C.J. Anderson doing his thing, going up and down the floor, and now second half, you got to make adjustments. Instead of you have a week to prepare, or now for the Super Bowl, you have 2 weeks, but you had all this time, and you're throwing them in there, and now what do you do?
And let me ask you a question. You're a middle linebacker, you're a corner, you're a safety, and you see big C.J. Anderson coming at you. What are you doing, gentlemen?
Lower the shoulder and try to hit.
This C.J. Anderson looks like he ate the C.J. Anderson from 10 years ago or 5 years ago, right or wrong? I mean, this guy is just monstrous. He really is.
He's a load.
I mean, he certainly is. He certainly is. We got a few seconds here before you guys come back for our second segment. So the Patriots have joined the Bills and Dolphins as the only franchises to appear in 3 or more Super Bowls. You know, and I know people are really hating on the Patriots, but will we probably ever see a dynasty like this? Really quickly, yes or no?
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, he says.
Not to this caliber. I think in the era of free agency and player and coach turnover, and with the way the injuries are spreading throughout the game, I mean, you always see injuries in football, but not quite to the degree that we see them now.
We'll be right back with Matt and Sean for our second pick segment. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunley Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Introducing the MyJCMC app, powered by Practice Unite. The free MyJCMC app puts the power of healthcare at your fingertips. Go to the concierge for access to referrals, scheduling, and appointments. See emergency room wait times and get directions to Jersey City Medical Center health locations. Read the latest JCMC news through their social media feed, find a doctor, and more. The MyJCMC app. We belong to you.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Peter B. And this is our bonus pick segment talking about tomorrow's Super Bowl matchup between, of course, the Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots. And still in studio, they didn't run away after the first segment.
We tried.
Exactly. The commercial wasn't that long. Is Matt Waymeyer and Sean Potter. Matt, I kind of cut you off at the end of the last segment. I know, my apologies.
Right.
You know, the ads were calling. So we were talking about if this dynasty for the Patriots, if we're ever going to see anything like this, and I cut you off, so please finish your thoughts.
I'm still going to say no, simply because of the era of football that we're in. I mean, it takes an incredible amount of skill, of health, and let's face it, some luck to do what the Patriots have done for the better part now of 2 decades. They're going to their 9th Super Bowl. They have a chance to win their 6th ring. And, you know, you need so much to go right. I think the team that's the closest to establishing anything even close to this would be the Steelers, and they've got a couple of rings. They've got great coaching, great quarterback, great stability, but it's still not at what the Patriots level. So I just think that given all the factors that you need year in and year out to sustain this, to see another team pull it off for as long as they have, it's going to be extremely difficult.
Exactly. Sean, anything to add?
I mean, you bring up really good points, but it's also, it could happen again. I mean, it could not happen in our lifetime, but it could happen again. I mean, when you think about and you cross over to the NBA, the Warriors, they put together a dynasty, they did it. So it's happening in all these other sports as well. But I guess you also have to bring up the right point when football is a little bit more physical. Nowadays, players don't sign as many long contracts. People just keep bouncing around from team to team. So keeping a solidified group to try to win and get the 3 Super Bowls again is probably going to be hard. But it could happen again.
That's what I'm telling the haters, though, guys. I'm like, why do you have to hate? I mean, we're probably never going to see a regime like Brady Belichick ever again. But let's move on, because behind every good quarterback, there's a very, very good offensive line, correct?
Or in front of.
Correct, in front of, thank you. Yeah, if they're behind him, the offensive line's not that great. Exactly.
That's a big problem.
Thank you. But how about, that's great. How about the Patriots offensive line? I mean, no quarterback has been sacked fewer times than Tom Brady this season. 21 times, that's nothing. I mean, including the playoffs, by the way. Is this group underrated? Sean, let's start with you.
No, they have been able to protect Tom Brady in, an immaculate fashion. They've done it year in and year out, and, you could bring up the argument where Nate Solder came into New York and he became a New York Giant, and he couldn't protect Eli Manning. So you're like, how did he protect Tom Brady? But it's
really
a 5 group of people that are solidifying and protecting him all together. But then you also have to realize how fast Tom Brady gets the ball out. It's like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds from where the snap is in his hands and the ball is in Julian Edelman's hand, for example, because it is that fast. Nobody on the defensive side is going to get to Tom Brady in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. As good as the line is, and it's very good, a lot of the credit has to go to Tom Brady because he's got such awareness and such pocket presence, and he knows if that pocket's collapsing, get rid of the darn thing. There's a lot of younger quarterbacks that aren't as adept at doing that. So, again, I give the lion's share of the credit to the line. But to have, the GOAT back there who knows what he's doing, that plays a big role too.
But what about, I think they're going to have their work cut out for them, whether it's the offensive line or Tom Brady, because Rams defensive end Aaron Donald, as you know, he has joined Lawrence Taylor as the only player with 20-plus sacks to make the Super Bowl and make the Super Bowl in the same season. They're going to have their work cut out for them, Matt?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to really try to handle, and you're on the offensive line, you're going to see guys when they're down in their stance, they're going to be pointing. They're going to be finding where is Aaron Donald, where is he going to be coming from, defensively and offensively. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to stop him.
It's just incredible. It's
just
incredible. By the way, let's talk a little bit about the fans that are going to be there, because that's another thing that people don't really talk about. And I know guys in our office during the week or in our day jobs like to say, Los Angeles shouldn't even be there. They have no fans. Tell people in St. Louis that. I'm sure there's a few people in St. Louis that are rooting for them.
Absolutely.
I mean, what do you guys think? Pro Patriot, pro Rams fans? Matt.
I see more Patriots fans than Rams fans, but again, as you brought up earlier, I think there's a lot more Patriot haters than Ram haters. I mean, the Rams are a team,
right?
They've been a great story you know, Sean McVay, he's all 33, he's putting all of us to shame. You know, putting a lot of people to shame with what he's done at such a young age. So I don't see people out there hating on the LA Rams, but the Patriots, you know, the saying goes, they hate us because they ain't us, you know. And when you have such sustained success over the course of nearly 2 decades, you're going to breed that kind of contempt and that kind of hate. That's just what American sports fandom is.
And Sean, Arthur Blank has done a heck of a job in that stadium down in Atlanta where there's $2 beers. And
it's going to be like the lowest concession prices in probably Super Bowl history.
Probably. It's amazing.
I don't know what it was in Super Bowl 1 through 5.
Exactly. So what do you think? It's going to be more of a hostile crowd because the beer's so cheap?
Yeah, but it's also, we're in the New York area, so it's like you automatically have this hate for like the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hate on how good they are, but
Right.
it's also, we can
amazing.
play the counter argument like the Yankees, right?
Sure.
You're a Red Sox fan. It's kind of the
And
same
a
scenario.
Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah. So it's like it's the same.
Please save the hate mail. I'm a good guy, I swear. Ask my son.
But yeah, so we could play the counter argument, devil's advocate with that. You know?
I mean, look, we spoke about Tom Brady a lot here. I mean, but this guy, I mean, he has made the Super Bowl in 9 of his 17 seasons as a starter. I mean, do you think this is the end for arguably the greatest player to ever play the game, or is he just like a fine wine, keeps getting better with age? Sean?
He's unbelievable. It's crazy how better he keeps, like, he's not downgrading. You think, quarterbacks get older with age. He's into his 40s, and he's still playing like he was in his 30s. I mean, you played 10 years ago, he's playing just as well. So, I mean, I don't know how. The only way to get rid of him is for him to get rid of himself.
Exactly. Matt, what do you think?
Hey, Giselle's got to intercede here and be like, Tom, enough. I need you at home with the kids.
I'm sure she likes the paychecks too, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I think she out-earns him still.
That's true.
Which is the crazy part. But
The extra income he's bringing
right,
in, I guess.
they can pay the rent. I'm relieved for them. I wouldn't say Brady's getting better, but he's still
At the elite level, correct?
He's still at close to an elite level. I actually did a little bit of a research on this. Like, passer rating this past year, he was 12th of 33 quarterbacks. Pass completion, 18th of 33. Yards per completion, 14th. Those are good numbers, but not elite numbers. Right. So I don't see him getting better as he gets into his mid-40s. But if he can maintain this level of production at age 41 for however many years he wants to keep playing, who's to say the Patriots don't go to another Super Bowl?
Well, look, backs against a brick wall. I love saying that here.
Yep.
Youth versus experience. We have a few seconds left here. I need a prediction and a final score from each of you. Matt, why don't we start with you?
Patriots get their 6th ring, 31-27.
Whoa, Sean.
Okay. We're close on numbers there, but your point to how, Tom Brady is, kind of good, but he's not being elite anymore. I don't think the Patriots have been as good as they used to be. Their season, usually they kind of run through the season, maybe lose a game or two. A little bit different in this season. I'm going to say Rams 32-28.
Rams. Okay, folks, you heard it here first. And that's Matt Waymeyer and Sean Potter. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you had fun. 2 segments went very, very quickly.
Thank you.
Guys, when we come back, we do have a Politics with Peter B segment, and Josh Sotomayor Einstein is here in studio, and he'll be discussing the Union Dry Dock in Hoboken. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back.
It takes more than a state-of-the-art medical facility to make a great hospital. It takes a team of dedicated medical professionals. That's the Jersey City Medical Center, Hudson County's #1 hospital. Medical teams consisting of New Jersey's top doctors, Magnet Award-winning nurses, and accomplished hospital associates, all committed to your good health. That's what you have at the Jersey City Medical Center. Make Hudson County's #1 hospital your first choice. Visit us on the web at barnabashealth.org.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just 1 path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintoproperties.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm Peter Biancamano, and this is our Politics with Peter B segment, joined this week, like we are every week, by Mr. Josh Sotomayor Einstein, our political analyst every week here. Josh, how's it going, brother?
It's good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, Josh, we both attended, as we said last week, the State of the City address in Hoboken, and, you know, we kind of expected this, but Mayor Bala didn't really say anything that was out of the blue, but he did bring up a very, very, very controversial and hot issue, which is the Union Dry Dock. And just so the audience knows, this is the 3-acre piece of land that was sold to New York Waterway recently, so they could use it for refueling and maintenance of their ferry fleets. But Hoboken wants this parcel of land as an open space to create a park to kind of fulfill their waterfronts. And then, of course, Hoboken tried to use eminent domain to get that land back from New York Waterway, but New Jersey Transit intervened, basically.
Well, not back. They never had it.
They never had it, excuse me, but to acquire it from New York Waterway. You're 100% correct. Then New Jersey Transit came in and took over the land and was going to rent it back to New York Waterway, or try to acquire the land. And then, of course, Hoboken couldn't use eminent domain because New Jersey Transit is a state entity. Josh, is this ever going to turn into a park?
So my money is on no. The city of Hoboken doesn't have the juice in the dispute between NJ Transit and I mean, basically the final arbiter would be Governor Murphy.
And I was going to ask about that
but
next. Right?
Hoboken, the corporate entity known as the City of Hoboken, doesn't have the leverage with the governor. And I know that Mayor Bala has a good relationship with the governor's office, and there's a lot of people in the political realm in Hoboken that have a good relationship with Murphy because they're on the same page politically. But they just don't have the juice for it. I mean, it's not worth the governor's office.
But what can the governor do? I think there are residents out there that are confused because Mayor Bala did mention this at the State of the City. He was like, we need to get Governor Murphy involved. What what type of power does Mayor Bala have? Does Governor Murphy have in this situation?
Well, NJ Transit is a state agency and does answer to him. So, whether formally or informally, what sort of powers there are aside, at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. However, inconveniencing potentially tens of thousands of commuters that take the ferry versus the voters of Hoboken, which are going to vote for him or a Democrat anyway, it just doesn't, the political calculus doesn't make sense for him.
Now, some residents have said that Mayor Zimmer should have probably have done more with this, that she had the opportunity to buy the Union Dry Dock from the original owners, and before New York Waterway came in and scooped it up from them, or bought it from them, properly, by the way. Should Mayor Zimmer have, should she have done more when she had the opportunity to do so?
Well, I think that's a legitimate critique. And I was not a fan of the Zimmer administration, but in reality, the Zimmer administration had a lot of different priorities, and not everyone is going to be priority number one or near the top. So you can't fault an administration as much as I'd like to. for not being able to achieve everything that they wanted to do. And you have to be a reasonable person and apply the same standards to those political movements and administrations that you like as ones that you dislike. So even though I'm not a fan of, I was not a fan of the Zimmer administration, I don't think this is a particular fault of hers, like a scarlet letter that she should wear.
Right. Now, what's interesting is New York Waterway has said that they need to upgrade the facility that they just purchased, the Union Dry Dock facility. But in order to upgrade that facility, whether it's repairs or whatever they need to do to the actual structure of the building that's there and the docks that they're using, don't they need to get a permit from the city? And the city does have the authority not to give it to them, correct?
Well, there'll be some back and forth. We'll see what'll happen in the end. But I think the smart money is that it's not going to change. But politically, in terms of the group of people that are in power in Hoboken, the Bollitt administration, it's a really great lightning rod to remind people that are in their coalition that they're the ones that are for them. So it's very, very convenient for the Bollitt administration that it continues. And I'm not saying they're disingenuous. They clearly believe that this should be a dry dock. But something we haven't talked about yet is the other side of the equation. There are many people in town that don't have a problem with the vast majority of the waterfront being what it is, a public park, and this small 3-acre lot continuing to be a sort of a business, right? Sort of a last relic of Hoboken's waterfront boating past.
And it's funny because we ran into Ron Hein the other night, who of course chairs the Fund for a Better Waterfront in Hoboken.
And is a very good and sincere gentleman.
He's a great guy, and he's done so much for the Hoboken waterfront to preserve it as open space. And of course, he was handing out these cards the other night. Let's save the Union Dry Dock. This is our last piece of land to make a continuous waterfront for our Gold Coast city here. This is probably the hardest challenge that Ron Hein has faced. Would you agree or not?
Well, I don't know about Hein in particular, but I'm good friends with Augusta Prigoda, one of the early crew that pushed for the redevelopment of the Hoboken waterfront to the wonderful park that it is now. And she's still a board member emeritus of the Fund for a Better Waterfront. And you really have to give it up to all those people that came before me to Hoboken, who really helped transform and save the waterfront and keep it as a wonderful public gem and public space for the people of Hoboken, from Pier A all the way up to the pier, where our waterfront can be walked easily, where there's beautiful scenery, where there's parks, where there's oak trees and plants and beautiful views. Unlike a lot of the waterfronts in other neighboring towns, where it's just
condo buildings. I mean, you go down
and
River
you have
Road.
To walk around them like that on the waterfront. It's just awkward.
Exactly. And you go down River Road, and especially like in Edgewater, I mean, it's just all these big these cookie cutter condo buildings. Josh, really quickly, because we have about 1 minute left here. Can it be both? Can New York Waterway have their maintenance facility and refueling station, and maybe carve out a little path for a walkway? Or as critics are saying, no, we don't want that because of the pollutions coming from the ferries. Couldn't it be both?
Well, I think people have to put aside, they're perfect, right? There's an old saying that the perfect is the enemy of the good, and it basically means that you have your ideal, but you need to settle for something that is at least partially what you want. So maybe some sort of compromise can be made, and that would be the smart thing going forward for people to try to achieve.
And I know the city has come out with saying, look, maybe Lackawanna can be a potential site, or Bayonne, but of course,
well, those aren't compromises.
Those aren't compromises. That's just the city wanting what they want. Well, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, folks, always here in studio for our Politics with Peter B segments. Folks, join us next week on The Pulse, and we'll see you then. Have a great week, everybody.